You have to understand that Celtic Frost is constantly a part of my life, and for me it's not an abstract thing to look at it now. It's always a part of my thinking as a musician.
The date of May 12th, 2014 will forever be known as the day when the indescribable light will no longer illuminate the night skies, according to Tom Gabriel Warrior. The former Celtic Frost guitarist and frontman was a friend to the iconic artist Hans Rudi Giger, more commonly known as H.R. Giger, and the news of his passing cast a dark shadow of despair over the horror and heavy metal community alike. H.R. Giger will forever be linked with Celtic Frost, having his artwork adorn the cover of the band's classic 1985 album to Mega Therion. The artist's association with Mr. Warrior would continue on with his new project, Trypticon, allowing his work to grace the cover of Eperistera Daimones from 2010, and then on the band's follow-up release, Melana Kasmata, from 2014. Ultimately, the partnership between the two, established over 30 years ago when Tom was struggling to maintain his first band, Hellhammer, became more than just a business relationship. According to Tom, he reached out to Giger when Hellhammer was unknown and firmly entrenched in the Swiss metal underground. Giger listened to the band, talked to them, and eventually gave the group a chance.
We knew what the artwork was going to be, in what direction. We already had the rights by H.R. Giger, mind you, to use his artwork for one of the covers with Hellhammer. We deliberately didn't do that because we thought the music wasn't ready for the artwork. We thought his artwork were such masterpieces, was such genius, that our abysmal music just didn't really suit it. So we wanted to come up with something, and we didn't even plan on using it for the first record, for Morbid Tales. We knew that this would be for To Mega Therion, for the second record.
A year later, Hellhammer evolved further into Celtic Frost, and it was then that Giger delivered to them the most important image to single-handedly forge the identity of the band, the album cover for To Mega Therion. For most fans of the band, To Mega Therion is considered to be the most consistent and probably the best representation of the band's style.
It is Greek. It means the great beast. And I guess this is the great beast of an album, right?
With such tracks like The Usurper, Dawn of Megiddo, and Circle of the Tyrants, all becoming instant classics. Notwithstanding Giger's cover image to help sell this bombastic beast of an album, Celtic Frost quickly became an important part of the 80s metal scene.
And they had lofty ambitions right from the get-go. The band is credited for having early styles of black, death, doom. They kind of sort of started it all.
We as a band, we hate all these cliches like black metal, death metal, But if you want to have one of these cliches, I think death metal would be closest. Or as they now call us, avant-garde metal, like something new in the heavy metal scene. That's what we like to be called.
Giger had become a mentor to the band, and over the years that mentorship evolved into a friendship. For Tom, it became a personal connection, in particular during the devastating breakup of Celtic Frost in 2008.
But heavy music to me is always anarchy, revolution, energy. And I miss that in all that technical perfection, and the technical perfection is even enhanced by computer technology in the studio. And I wonder, is that really the purpose of heavy music? To me, it's not. To me, heavy music is passion, is a fire. And if you play a mistake, so fuck it. But unfortunately nowadays, the albums I hear, they're produced to death. And most of it is recorded directly into the computer. I like albums where you actually hear the air between the amp and the microphone, where you hear the drums screeching, the screws on the drums. But you don't hear that anymore. I went to heavy metal because there's anarchy, and because there you can actually smash a fucking guitar. And I really miss that. I miss when heavy metal was like that. It's become as sterile as so many other things in our times. And I think that's a shame. I mean, even punk nowadays is fucking designed. What's wrong with people?
Giger and his wife Carmen stood by Tom. Eventually, Giger offered to work with his new band, Trypticon. The collaboration meant a new beginning for Tom, and when he first laid eyes upon Giger's art for Eperistera Daimones, he felt it was the most dramatic painting of all. Once again, Giger delivered a stunning painting for Milana Kasmata, but sadly, it was to be his final painting for the band. This final painting may ultimately become the most significant image to firmly represent the impactful friendship shared by both Tom and Giger. Tom had become despondent in recent years and had, at one point, contemplated suicide. Edging close to 51, he realized that he no longer needed to play the part of that macho metal musician of old, having already carved out a legacy spanning 33 years. Tom's girlfriend pleaded with him not to take his own life, and thanks to her, Tom managed to cope with his situation and turn things around, including reconnecting with his Trypticon bandmates and finishing the second album. It was then that Giger re-entered the picture and produced the painting to magically lift Tom's spirit. It made Tom proud, and it meant a lot to him that they were working together again. And Giger's iconic work managed to establish that visual link to Celtic Frost's To Mega Therion album. Perhaps going full circle, Giger's work was symbolic to Tom, and it meant that Trypticon was as important to him as Celtic Frost was. Utilizing Giger's work on his band's album covers proved how unique his work was, and Tom, being a longtime fan, considered him to be the greatest living surrealist painter on the planet.
He's groundbreaking. He's legendary. He's the most humble man you'll ever talk to, right? Not that I talk or see in an interview, right? Like basically, you know, if someone calls him an artist, he'll be very strict to say he's no artist, right? He got lucky. He's doing this by the good graces of fans, and he really doesn't believe he has talent, which is quite shocking, because that's definitely not the case in any way.
In a statement that Tom recently made, he had this to say: "Regardless of anything I may write about H.R. Giger, none of these words will ever be able to truly accurately describe him as a person and as a friend. It is utterly inconceivable to imagine a world without his wit, his perception, his genius, his horizon, his determination, his humor, his friendship, and his immeasurable kindness. And yet, we are now left in exactly such a world. A world without H.R. Giger is a truly sad reality indeed, and he will be missed by many, including Thomas Gabriel Warrior. And for that, we lament the loss of To Mega Therion's master."